we're now joined by Juan Pablo Montoya, who will be joining 2311 Racing this weekend here at Watkins Glen in the number 50 Toyota. Juan Pablo, what's it like to be back?
It's really good to be back. Exciting. I have no idea what to expect, so I don't know. I think I should run pretty good, but that's bad I can tell you right now. No, it's so difficult because, you come into a weekend where you get, I drove the car in VAR. I did about 40 laps in the morning, just to get comfortable, make sure the seat, everything was working. And I felt pretty good with the car. I actually felt it was easier to drive than the last car. And then, you talk to our teammates, and the teammates go, "Oh, it's so difficult to drive." I go, "Okay." And then you talk to McDowell, and McDowell goes, "No, it's much easier. It drives more like a GT3 car." And I'm like, "That's what I thought." And then you talk to Papis, and he goes, "So I don't know. I'm just gonna go out there and go. It's either gonna be, it's not too bad, or I'm gonna go, oh shit, But we'll see."
All right, we'll open up to questions. We'll start up front with Holly and then go to Bob.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Holly Kane with the NASCAR Wire Service. Not only, it's been several years since you've been in this car, but also the people that you're racing around. It's a whole lot of new people. What has that been like to get acclimated to who you're racing around this time?
Honestly, being a one-off, it's kind of irrelevant. I want to try to have a clean day and a good day and try to be competitive. If somebody's quicker, they're quicker. If you're quicker, you're going to try to go by and, try to keep it as simple as possible. But, you never know. If everybody races the hell out of you, then you're going to race the hell out of everybody. And, I have no issues with that either, so...
And the other thing I wanted to ask you is, 2 years ago, would you have expected that you were going to be in another NASCAR Cup Series race? Just if you could maybe talk about being here and how it kind of came about.
Honestly, last year I was just racing. The last few years I was racing P2 cars for a while. And, I ran WEC, ELMS, IMSA. I've done a bit of everything. And... The bronze that we raced with decided he wanted to stop or for a little bit. And honestly, for me it was fun because it's like racing with no commitments. Like we went to the track, we stayed always in the same hotel, had dinner, go to the tracks when the bronze wants to go to the track. So you get to the track like 40 minutes before you run, and you still drive the hell out of it and you still do the whole work, but there's no sponsors commitments. There's no BS around the racing. You just go there, drive the car, go home. It's really nice. So when he stopped, I really wanted to focus on Sebastian. That we do. We did F3 this year, and the plan. We're trying to figure out next year, but the plan hopefully would be F2. And that's it. And Loletta called me earlier this year around the USGP in Miami, and a little before that, and he said, "Hey, would you be interested in doing this?" And I said, "Yeah, I would. I thought it'd be cool." It's kind of funny because you would ask me last year, I said, "Oh, no way." And then when the idea comes, I go, "Huh." And I honestly, I think it's pretty cool. The idea behind it was really cool. The cars are very competitive, and why not? You know what I mean? I really don't have a reason not to do it, to be honest with you. I feel I can still do a good job. This year I wasn't racing full time, but I do a lot of karting, a lot of shifter karts with my kid, and I'm still involved in racing fully. So, just drive the car. If the car is good, you're gonna look good. If it's bad, you're gonna look bad. You know what I mean? It's like I don't think the car is bad. It's whether I'm comfortable in it or not. I told the guys I'd be surprised if we qualified really well. Like, I should qualify pretty decent, but, when I won here, I didn't even put it on pole when I used to win here. I finished in the top 5, I don't know how many times in a cup race here, and, it's to qualify 12th to 15th. So, I don't know. We'll see.
We'll go to Bob and then Dan.
Bob Pockers, Fox Sports. What feels like going to be the most different from when you last drove in Cup? And I'm not really talking about the car, but just the way, I'm thinking you've never been through a choose. Are there other things that you're like, man, this is going to be really new to me?
I think the new thing, and I'm kind of lucky that they gave us 2 practices, But I think that's the hard thing. The hard thing is you're gonna go out and they want to see the tire deck, so you're gonna go out and do a long run. You're never really gonna do a qualifying sim or anything. Like back in the day, you used to do a qualifying sim. Like you really prepare for qualifying, and now we just go there and drive it. And with the tire deck they're talking about, you're probably gonna get a lap. So yeah, I mean it's kind of tough because if you overdo it, you screw up. And if you underdo it, you screw up. So, great.
Danielle Sneapy, 10 years out now, how do you look back at your NASCAR career and how do you judge your run here?
I thought it was pretty good, honestly, for the car I was in and the equipment we were in. I think we, in a couple of years, were not great, but we made the chase. We fought for the championship. We did things with a lot less than the other teams, I think, personally speaking. I think my best run was with Brian, when Brian was there and he was taking care of everything. When the new crew chief came in, it was honestly, until I left, it was a bit of a joke. But what can you do?
Do you feel this will open the door to more one-offs, or do you think this is?
I don't know. Let's do this weekend and then we'll see. Honestly, I probably, somebody would come and say, hey, you want to do this again? I would probably say yes, but it's Saturday morning, so we'll see. But yeah.
Okay, let's go to Lee next.
Lee Spencer, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio and CatchFence.com. So what is your workout routine now, and how does it compare to when you were driving?
When I was driving, I didn't do anything. I go to the gym now. It's the truth. We're racing every week. I go to the gym every time I'm at home. I go for like an hour and a half every morning in the gym, and I do a lot of shifter cards. The shifter card is a killer. I mean that thing will tear you apart, and it's good fun, and I play golf a lot, walking, and I do quite a bit. I'm always been a big guy, and I was gonna, it's like, I'm not 25, and when I was 25, everybody said I was big. So what do you expect at 48? Come on, get a life.
So ran into you and Sebastian yesterday, and I'm kind of curious. When you see what he's doing, and he said F2 is kind of like on the radar, when you see how you've helped prepare him to take those steps, and then a kid like Connor Zillage, who has gone and won Trophy Cup and done the karting things in Europe that most of the American kids don't do, what do you think is the next progression for these kids that want to take perhaps an F1 path? Because most of the American kids, those doors really aren't open to them.
So Connor is interesting because Connor raced against Sebastian the last year or two of karting. So we used to run mainly in Europe, and then in the winter series or whatever it was called in Florida, we used to run against him, and they used to always run together. So it was good. I think Connor went I think he went a couple of times to Europe, and Europe is a different animal. Europe is a different animal, and it's a different animal because it's a very different driving style. So what you drive in the States in a go-kart, you go there and you struggle because the engine is very different and the approach is very different and the grip level is very different. So it's just a different animal. Did he win?
He won the Trophy Cup.
Yeah, but that's not FIA. You know what I mean? It's if you go and race IAME or race Rotax or race, that's not it. That's like saying you ran ARCA and you call it you won in Cup. It's good. I mean, the kid is good, and you see what he's done. He probably, if he would have stayed in Europe, he probably have the progression to be where Sebastian and what we're doing with Sebastian. But I think he's managed by Harvick, so they decided to come this route, and you see how good he is. The thing in Europe, most of the kids in Europe are that good. Like if you go to an F3 race and a 2-minute lap time, 70% of the grid, it's within 3/10. You look at qualifying right now in Xfinity, it's 7/10 to the top 5 or 6/10 for the top 5. 610s, you've set 90% of the F3 grid in a double the length of a racetrack. That close it is. You know what I mean? That's the reality of it. It's very difficult, and you get less running than here. In a, like F3 weekend, you get about 4 push laps in practice and 2 or 3 push laps in qualifying, and that's the weekend. So you need to come really well prepared. That's why everybody that comes from F2, F3 to IndyCar performs well, because they're used to perform under pressure.
We'll go to Davey and then Dustin Albino.
Hi, Juan. Davey Siegel with Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. How often do you and Sebastian watch NASCAR racing nowadays? Is that something you still follow?
I'll be honest with you, in my house, the person that watched the most racing is my wife. Yeah, I watch some of the F1 races. Actually, I'm doing a podcast now in Colombia for racing, so I need to watch all the F1 races. I follow a little bit of the NASCAR races. I honestly, like for this, I focus more on this race. I focus more. The team did a tire test here, so look what they were doing. I did sim work. I did everything. You know what I mean? Everybody I talk to says that the give and take that used to be back in the day is a lot less. People seem to race more for every position. But it's what it is. See, I mean, I think if you have 3-4 seconds of tire drag, if you race, somebody starts racing, they're going to blow the tires off, so knock themselves out. You know what I mean? I'm okay with that.
Daniel Suarez was just in here before you, and he was speaking about the diversity that's throughout the garage, mechanics, drivers, etc. I know it's been a minute since you've been here, and you haven't really been able to see everybody and everything, but have you noticed a difference in terms of the people and the makeup of the garage since you left?
Yes, I guess. Is the correct answer? I don't know. Honestly, back in the day, you had plenty of diversity. You have, it hasn't really, it hasn't really changed. I think the biggest change is you're going to go and race in Mexico next year, and that you're willing to explore more of that. And I think it's good, because I think where you're going to see more diversity, apart from the garage, is going to be the crowd watching the races. And I think that's going to grow the sport to a brand new market that is quite interesting. And I think the sponsors, as a big, Latino market and everything is in the States nowadays, I think that's going to help a lot, and especially bring new sponsors to the championship.
Go to Dustin and then Marisol.
Dustin Albino, NASCAR.com, right here, Juan. In the decade away, you had a lot of success, but coming back now, were there any prior opportunities before this one with 2311?
Not really. I think the main reason the 2 reasons this opportunity came about, one is, Steve Loletta was the president at Ganassi when I was there, for one, and 2 is I raced for Mobil 1. You know what I mean? I raced with McLaren with Mobil 1, and my first sponsor in Colombia was Mobil 1 too, so.
Hola, soy Marisol Hernández del medio de comunicación CMY Latino. Y quería hacerte la pregunta en español porque quiero que nuestra audiencia sepa y oiga de ti en nuestro propio idioma. No te voy a hacer preguntas de la carrera ni de tu historia, pero bienvenido una vez más después de estos 10 años. Y explícanos a nosotros qué significa mañana comienza el principio del mes de la herencia hispana, y como hispano o latino en esta área, de esta industria, ¿qué significa eso para ti?
Bueno, la verdad es muy chévere poder estar acá. Yo cuando corrí para Target, me acuerdo que tuvimos un carro del mes de la hispanidad y todo, un paint scheme especial, y la verdad fue muy especial. Y la verdad, yo ya llevo los últimos 3 años viviendo en Europa, entonces ya no sigo tanto lo que pasa acá. Pero estando acá y representando la verdad a todos los latinos y a toda la gente que me apoya.
Explicaste un momentito antes, la pregunta que te hicieron antes que tú no has visto diferencia en los latinos aquí, porque tú siempre has reconocido esas personas en el pit, en las diferentes áreas. Dinos un poquito más acerca de eso y por qué tú siempre has notado los latinos en esta área.
Pues es que yo creo que latinos siempre han habido, la verdad, siempre han estado involucrados, siempre pues conmigo trabajaba gente así y todo, entonces siempre hay mucha gente de descenso colombiano, mexicano, argentino, hay de todo, ¿sí me entiende? Entonces, la verdad, para mí personalmente, lo que me importa más que todo es que la gente haga un buen trabajo. De dónde son o cómo son es irrelevante.
Sí, y sé que tu hijo está también corriendo. Felicidades.
Gracias.
O ¿cómo se dice? Mi pésame. No sé cómo te sientes como padre, que tu hijo esté en la misma industria que tú. ¿Cómo lo apoyas y qué significa para ti que tu hijo también esté siguiendo tus pasos?
No, la verdad, muy contento. Es lo que él quiere hacer y desde que él lo quiere hacer lo vamos a apoyar en todo lo posible y ya, la verdad, hemos trabajado muy duro, hemos progresado mucho, ha mejorado mucho, entonces muy contento con cómo van las cosas.
Sí. Nosotros siempre te hemos seguido y como latinos hemos tenido mucho orgullo de tenerte como parte de esta industria. Felicidades y esperamos que puedas llegar a un puesto bastante alto igual que a Suárez.
Listo, muchas gracias.
Okay, we're going to take 2 more questions. We'll go to Daniel McFadden and we'll finish with Rick.
Daniel McFadden, Frontstretch.com. Juan, you mentioned earlier if someone's going to race the hell out of you, you're going to race the hell out of them. William Byron was in here earlier, and he said, hopefully, he said this playfully. He said, hopefully he's nice and respectful of the playoff guys. And
I'll be nice and respectful of everybody that is nice and respectful with me. I mean, if it's... I don't wanna. Honestly, I don't wanna get in a pissing contest with anybody. I wanna run well. If I get to you and I'm quicker than you, I'm gonna try to pass you. And if you're quicker than me and you get there, there's no reason. The race is long enough. You know what I mean? Then you, like always, wait for the adjustment, make the car better. If you make somebody miserable earlier in the race, they're gonna return the favor later. So just I know I'm doing one off, but. I'll be respectful of everybody that is respectful with me. It's not that hard.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Rick Huey, Finger Lakes Local Media. Juan, I remember you here with the Barbershop Pro Series way back in the day. Can you talk a little bit about your driver coach back then, Pete Arkensinger, who was the son of Cameron Arkensinger, who started racing here in Watkins Glen?
Oh my God. Yeah, I think probably half of the grid wasn't even born then. This was what, 94?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. No, I knew Peter. He was one of the coaches at Barbershop, and he was a really nice guy. He was, you know, I mean, he was always there working with all the drivers, and he was really cool. You know, it was him. It was Wilson. What's his name? I don't remember his first name. He's actually helping Checo right now in F1, and there were a few guys, and it's really cool. You know what I mean? Honestly, even sometimes I receive texts from my mechanic from Barbershop, so it's pretty awesome.
Thank you.
Pablo, thank you for coming in and good luck this weekend.
This is Custom Patch Hats. But what makes us custom? Well, that actually begins with you. We're just bringing your unique vision to life. No knockoffs, no lookalikes. Your design is one of a kind. We know hats, we know design, and we know quality. The proof? It's in our production. Hand-stitched with precision and care, with brands you know and trust. A one-of-a-kind patch deserves a one-of-a-kind treatment, all the way to your doorstep. It's how we keep it custom.
Steven Stump of Frontstretch.com here. Come back for more great racing videos, and if you like us, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.